right. Well, thank you all. Hello, Alison. How you doing? Um, Very excited to have Rob Russell with us here today. And I love these workshops. They're 30 minutes, short and sweet. You just learn what you need to know, and that's the way I love it. Rob's here with Hopetail Technologies, and he's going to teach us what to do, and more importantly, what not to do when your computer is running sluggish or you're having problems with it, and when you really should take it in and have it fixed, or whether you should throw the darn thing in the trash. So, Rob, I'm going to send it over to you because we only have 30 minutes and I know you've got a lot to talk about.
All right, thanks, Laura. I appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. I know technology can be daunting to everyone, and I'll try to keep this down to earth, easy to understand, and somewhat fun. I'll introduce you to myself and Hopetail Technologies, talk about what types of performance issues you may see on your computer, some examples, and discuss these a little bit, and some solutions that you can do on your own. And as Laura said, things that you shouldn't do on your own and you should leave to a professional. And then at the very end, I'm going to go through some things that just as best practices from a consumer and a business perspective that you should be looking at when you're working with your computers, and then some question and answers if there's still time. I don't have a lot of hands-on or live demos here, but I've tried to include screen clips where I can. So you get a general idea, try to provide some instruction with it. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me and let me know. So officially, my name is Rob Russell. Here's my contact information. Again, if you have any questions about this or anything else, you're welcome to shoot me an email or give me a call. I have over 30 years of technology experience and backgrounds in engineering and business. I'm married with 3 children, and I live in Hopedale. So Hopetail Technologies, we're a small local business who partnered with Tom McGovern from TWM Computer Systems, and we acquired his business upon his retirement in 2019. We recently moved to Milford Commons. It's the same building that the Chamber of Commerce and MyFM is in. We have a nice retail, training, and meeting area to help our customers. We're on the ground floor on Suite 104. We strive to provide quality products, use technologies to improve efficiency, and always provide a delightful experience for our customers. We aim to bring big business services to small business customers. And as Tom always said, why hire a geek when you can hire a professional for much less? So as you can see, the core of what we offer are a computer sales and service company, but we do reach out to all the newest technologies. We strive to build security into all of our products. And you can see the services that we offer on the left-hand side here. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to meet with you, discuss your needs. And we also invite you to check out our website, like our Facebook page, and sign up for our weekly emails. Promise not to bombard you with any ads, but offer you some quick 2-minute weekly non-technical emails about the latest technology trends or things that may be of interest to you or your business. Just to level set, I'm going to make some assumptions. You're using Windows 10, not Windows XP or Windows 7. They were great operating systems, very solid, but they did live a good life, and it's time to upgrade. So if you are using those old operating systems, I do suggest that you give us a call or look to upgrade to Windows 10. You're opening yourself to a lot of risk staying on those old operating systems. I'm also assuming that you're good stewards of technology. You're using licensed software, keeping active antivirus, running regular Windows updates and backups. If you're not, feel free to give us a call. We're here to help. And big thing is, I'm going to assume that you're not a power user. The tips that you'll get here will not be complete and exhaustive, but a good start to cleaning up your computer. So if you're not comfortable, don't risk it. Take it to the trusted professional. Okay, let's get going with this. Do you ever feel like this, ready to pull your hair out? Do you think you have issues with your computers? Okay, take a deep breath. Why is this occurring, and what can you do to improve it? You just want to get your jobs done. You just can't stop what you're doing to deal with this. Let's start digging into this so you can start improving your system performance. To start, what are the signs of system performance issues? How do you know that you're having an issue? You see the following characteristics during your day. Windows starts up slowly. Programs and other windows are slow to open. When you're working, Windows or your applications stall. Your web page loads slowly, and your computer's fan is constantly running or it's extremely loud. What does all this mean? Before I show you how to fix some of these things, I want you to understand what causes these performance issues. First and foremost, the age of your computer components and programs on your computer can cause performance issues. Old hardware does struggle with new software. If you're on the internet, you know you need to stay up to date or you risk security breaches or issues. Is your hardware keeping up with your software? And for the same token, is your software keeping up with your hardware? Old software doesn't run well on new computers. There's always new technology out there, and staying on top on both sides of that is important. Oftentimes, your performance is affected by one of three critical overtapped resources. RAM, it's a temporary storage location that Windows, your applications, and the data on your computer is quickly accessed. Your CPU, central processing unit, it's the brain of your computer. It processes data and computations that drive your experience. And your disk processing, the reads and writes of your computer, when those drives are overworked, can slow down your operating system. When any of these are overworked, you'll see slowness, stalls, and fans spinning loudly. And if you're like me, you don't reboot every day, and sometimes this can cause system performance issues. Another thing that we have to know is technology changes significantly over the years, and prices continue to decrease as technology becomes mainstream. Your hard drive is no exception. They store all your data, your application, your pictures and programs. The faster it can read and write the data, the faster your computer will function. Older drives actually have spinning disks inside, but newer solid-state drives have become more economical over the past 10 years. They offer you faster boot times, more reliability, and no moving parts. And although the mechanical drives still have a purpose, there's more incentive to upgrade to a new solid-state drive if you haven't already. The applications you run can also cause performance issues. Are they internet intensive? Do they run all the time? Are they constantly syncing, looking for constant updates? Doesn't mean you shouldn't run these, but do you need all of them? Are you the type of person that will install any application that you find on the internet? Do you know what these programs are actually doing? Remember, nothing is free. Sometimes freeware will include other programs or collect data that consumes your system resources. Our new computers are designed to handle these applications, but there is a limit to everything. If you're like me, you multitask, which leaves a lot of browser tabs open. Each tab you use uses some resources on your computer. Every web page is different. Some use more resources than others. Think about Facebook, Twitter, sports, and news feeds. They're constantly updating and continue to use your resources. This isn't always a problem. Again, your computer is designed to handle this, but it can contribute to performance issues. Your browser extensions, are you using password keepers, coupon finders, weather bugs, search helpers? Some are efficient, some are benign, others aren't. Web browsers, there's four or five major web browsers: Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari. They all have their subtle differences. People have their own preferences. Chrome has been known to be a memory hog, but it does change over time as updates get released and vulnerabilities found. Sometimes it's not just your computer. Most of us have a solid internet connection, but like a water hose, if you have too many connections, it'll start slowing down. Your internet speed may make it seem like your computer is running slow. And of course, viruses and malware are always a problem. They'll hijack your computer resources and use it for very bad purposes. So there's a lot more that can affect performance, but these are the things that are the most common things I see on a regular basis. It may make you wonder how you can tell if these things are happening to you. Windows offers a great tool called the Task Manager. It'll show you all the processes that are running on your computer. There are many ways to launch the Task Manager, but there's three really easy ways. One is to hit Control Escape Shift. Another is to hit Control Alt Delete and then select the Task Manager, as you can see here. And the last easy one is to right click on any space on your toolbar, taskbar at the bottom of your screen, and select Task Manager. Now this can appear to be complicated and overwhelming, and probably is to some. But if you focus on a few key areas of this application, you can gain valuable insight to what's affecting your performance. If you see spikes in your CPU, your memory, or your disk, you can click the header to actually sort to see the biggest offenders. And as you watch this, you'll notice that things fluctuate, and that's normal. But if you see applications that consume a large portion of your resource, it gives you a place to start digging. And when you launch Task Manager, you may see one of two windows, whether it's on the left or the right. If you see the one on the left, it's giving you a summarized view, a lot less complicated view. You can hit more details, and that'll open up the larger one to give you insight to what's going on. Now what? Now that we know that there's several causes for a slower computer, including the age, the programs and hardware that you use, what are some of the things you can do to improve this? Do I need a computer, new computer? It's the first thing many people ask, and you may. But this will largely depend on the age of your computer, and that's more about the age of the processor and not when you bought the computer. It'll also depend on what you're using the computer for, whether you have enough RAM, what type of drive you have, and the applications you're running. First, we'll talk about how to free up your resources. Are you someone who shuts down every day or keeps it on? I put mine to sleep every night, but I reboot seldomly. As your computer runs every day, day in and day out, sometimes it'll get cluttered. Sometimes you just need to restart, and that's the simplest of things to do. Review the programs that you have installed. If you've installed something that you never use, especially the free downloads, it's sometimes helpful to uninstall these. But just note, if you do have paid software, make sure you have the license and installation disks or the installation files in case you want to reinstall it. Windows does offer a disk cleanup application or disk cleanup tool. All you have to do is click Start, type disk cleanup in, and it'll open up the window that you see on the right-hand side here. This will allow you to scan your computer's hard drive for files that you no longer need, temporary files, cached web pages, deleted items that are in the recycle bin, for example. It's a way to start freeing up some of those resources. Next, you could adjust the visual performance of Windows. It's not something I'd recommend for everyone, but if you're desperate, computer's old, and you want to start improving the performance, and turn off some of the Windows animations just by adjusting the system experience. And you can see on the right-hand side here, it's either let Windows choose. You could do best appearance, best performance, or select what you want to see or what you don't. You can search for advanced system settings, enter the performance area, and then click settings. Check your startup apps. You can change how your programs run. If you launch your Task Manager, as I showed earlier, and go to the Startup tab here, you can see all the applications that are set to start up when you launch your computer. Those that are no longer needed on a daily basis, that you want to use as needed, you can disable the startup of these, and they'll only start when you ask them to start instead of when you boot your computer. You might want to change your browser. This does change over time. Right now, I do recommend Microsoft Edge as a really powerful browser. I find that Chrome is using a lot of resources off my computers, and I've found that Edge is giving me a little bit better experience. Also go into your browsers and check and remove your extensions. If you have multiple browsers, it'll be dependent on which one you're using, but you can go into your settings and disable or remove the extensions that you don't need. Look for malware and spyware. These programs fetch information from your computer and send it over the internet. There's a free tool out there called Malwarebytes. They'll ask you to buy it, but you can download it for free, and it allows you to run free scans on your computer. If you find that your computer runs slowly on a certain day and time of the week, it could be time to, you could be trying to run an antivirus scan. Maybe worthwhile to change the time that these scans run. And then Windows updates sometimes get stuck, causing performance issues and keeps trying to download these over and over again, make sure you don't have any updates in a pending or failed status. And we've covered a lot of different ways to improve your performance, but there are things that you may want to try. And I give you a few words of caution before you do. RAM is not a difficult thing to upgrade. Just make sure it's compatible and your computer can support the upgrade. Laptops are delicate, and sometimes the screws are in odd places. It makes it really easy to snap the plastic inside the laptop. Be careful with compressed air. It can blow dust and debris out of computers, but if it's too high, it can break fan fins and other components inside. And not everything is worth installing off of the internet. And absolutely, by all means, do not go into your registry and delete or modify items. The registry is the DNA of your Windows and Windows applications. Gives you the settings and the code and everything else that runs Windows. You don't want to go in there and make changes. Likewise, you don't want to go into Windows Explorer and just delete files out of the applications area of Windows. Do that through the add remove programs. And don't delete, bypass, or disable your antivirus. You might have seen these little windows pop up during your day. This is called user account control. It's a feature that Windows offers to help warn and prevent larger issues. Unfortunately, Windows offers you ways to bypass and disable these, but pay attention to these warnings. When you see it, it's actually telling you that you're going to do something that's going to change the operating system that you have. And it might be okay, but if you do see it, I urge you just to slow down and think about what you're doing. Probably you're fine. Just make sure that it's doing what you think you want it to do. So these tips I've offered so far are low-risk solutions to help improve your performance, but they don't fix everything. A new drive or more RAM are lower-cost alternatives to replacing your computer, and sometimes buy you a year or two before you need to upgrade. I'd also recommend upgrading solid-state drives and RAMs to the professionals. When replacing your hard drives, you do have some options. We can clone, or we can do a fresh install. A clone is where you keep your passwords and settings and application. Your computer looks identical to how it was beforehand. But it does leave all the skeletons in the closet, so if anything that you've done in the past will still be there in the future. That's where a clean install might be better, where you start fresh. You copy all your data files, but your password settings and applications all need to be reinstalled and configured. And again, licenses would be needed for those products. We do recommend system cleanups where you do spray debris from all the nooks and crannies. It gets all that dust out of the fins and the different areas of your computer to help the computer run cooler. A lot of people sometimes ask if you can simply just replace the CPU. And the compatibility and the cost to upgrade your CPU is usually not worth the expense, and we recommend a new computer in those cases. So if all these tips and tricks don't get you anywhere, we'd be happy to give you an evaluation. And sometimes even with all of these, a new computer is inevitable. We can help match you up with the best solution for your needs. For the last few minutes of the presentation, I wanted to mention a few best practices. How safe are you? Are you using the same passwords for all your websites? If one gets leaked out, would people be able to get into more than one website? Are you using a quality antivirus, one that's regularly updated and monitored? What would happen if you lost your data? Is it backed up? We recommend a 3-2-1 rule where you have 3 backups in 2 locations with 1 at an offsite location. And be careful where you use your laptops. Beds and couches and such can restrict airflow, causing laptops to heat up and run hotter. And this sometimes leads to early failure and more issues. And never throw away your computer or laptop. Data can be retrieved from your hard drive even if you wipe it. Make sure that hard drive gets destroyed. And remember that Microsoft will never call you. Watch out for unprofessional emails and confirm the links before you click them in your emails. And finally, not all computer issues require professional services. So there's a lot you can do on your own. I hope you've seen that in today's presentation. But if you aren't sure, don't risk it. Your computers are critical tools to your business. Let us help you. And when if you call us, make sure you tell us that you're a member of the Milford Chamber of Commerce. We'll give you 10% off of any labor costs. Again, we're at 258 Main Street, Suite 104. Again, it's the same building as the chamber. We have office hours from 9 to 2 or by appointment. And it's been a tough year. It's been a chaotic year. We'll work with you to help because we know people have problems and we want to give solutions. So I appreciate your time. Brings us to about 12:20, so we have a little time after if anyone has any questions.
Rob, Olympia asked a question in the chat. Do you want me to read it to you?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do you recommend a cloud backup or a physical drive?
I honestly, I recommend both. Cloud backup is great because it keeps it off site, but a physical backup is also good as well because any backup is important. Now, you want something that's separated from your computer because if, let's say, you do get hit with ransomware, you want something that's disconnected from your computer, and that's why having that offsite backup is so important. But having a local backup as well is really good. So again, remember, 3 backups, 2 locations, 1 offsite. So you have a physical backup, that's your second, and you have an offsite backup, that would be your third.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Jennifer Powell asked if you work with Macs.
I don't work with Macs. It's not a specialty of mine. If you have a question, I'll try to help you out with it. But for the most part, usually the Apple Store is the better place to go.
Laura, you can take a turn.
Yeah, I have a question. What do you think, Rob, is the best antivirus software to get? I know there's so many of them out there. What do you think is the best one?
There are a lot of antiviruses out there. Some are bigger suites that actually do consume some of your resources on your computer and consume more of them. I've been recommending an antivirus called Viper. There's 2 different types of this antivirus that we sell. One is just a perpetual license where you install it on your computer, and every year you have to update it. And then there's a managed antivirus where we install it. We also make sure that it gets regularly updated, and it also gets it's always running. And that's the big key is if you have antivirus on your computer and for some reason it stops running, whether there's a hiccup or some problems with an update, these things get updated all the time because new threats come out all the time. It can sometimes cause a little glitch when it updates. So you want to make sure that's running. We have a agent on the computer when we install that to verify that it's running all the time. So I like Viper. I know there's a lot of other tools out there. Some are free, some aren't. Always have to be careful what you get for free.
Are there any other questions, Sherry? Because I have a few.
I don't
No.
have any in the chat box. So You
Okay.
can keep going.
Why did you mention, Rob, to change the time for your antivirus scans? What would be the gain in that?
Well, when your computer runs an antivirus, it's actually going through all your files. So it's taking some of your disk time, it's taking some of your CPU time, and also some of your memory time or memory resource. Sometimes going through all this, it does take up some more of the resources, causing your computer to slow down. So if you have a graphics intensive thing, application that you're running, it can certainly be impacted by it. So if at 9 o'clock you're routinely doing your work and at 7 o'clock in the morning you're not, move it to 7 o'clock.
Okay. And then my last question is, you mentioned the malware bytes. Is that the free
Yes.
free one? What about CC Cleaner? Would that be any good? Or what are the other good freebies?
Well,
to do a cleanup or whatever.
I looked at the CC Cleaner. I found that CC Cleaner does essentially the same thing as disk, the disk cleaner that I mentioned in the slideshow. It's basically going in, looking for your temporary files, looking for your disk cache. So whenever something comes with Windows, I try to go with that first before going with the free alternatives. I've heard good things about CC Cleaner. I've not had any problems with those. Those are really good. I do like Malwarebytes as a second check to your antivirus to make sure you don't have that spyware and malware on there. But for other tools, I try to stay away from the free softwares as much as I can.
they probably download other stuff onto your computer, doing everything else, you know.
And that's the case. I mean,
It's
even
free,
with
as they say.
even with Adobe Acrobat Reader that they give you for free, it's always trying to put on an antivirus or include something else with it. And you have to be careful when you install it and see what they're including with the software. Usually they're going to bundle something in for someone else, and that helps them out because they received some kind of a kickback from it.
Right. All right, that's all good to know. Well, I just want to let everybody know that we actually are recording this, so you can, you know, we're Cherry later on today or tomorrow morning can send the link over to you so you can watch it again in case you just missed any of it and you just want to know what to do, because I know it's like everything else. Like I tell myself in my house, you know, I'm living there 25 years and I bring stuff in all the time to the house, but I never get rid of anything. So you've got 25 years of crap in the house. So it's every now and again, you really should clean it up, right, Rob?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a
All
great
right.
point.
So we did record it. We'll send it out to you. And if there's no other questions, we can end it here.
All right.
Nothing?
Thank
Thank you, everyone. It was a
Thank
great
you,
time.
Rob.
Thank you so much, Rob. We appreciate your time.